Good day. My name is Odeifna Jessica. I'm the group leader for Group A. We'll be talking about general etiquette and specific techniques for telephone communication. Telephone communication refers to the communication between persons and among persons through a medium called the telephone. In some instances, telephone is like the most recommended for communication, such as when you want to talk to someone very urgently. In other instances, when you work with people that stay in remote areas or places, telephone then is a primary channel for communication in such manner. As it is a common mode for business communication, there are guidelines and protocols that need to be duly observed to ensure that communication is efficiently passed out. These guidelines are the general etiquette, which I'll be talking about. What are general etiquette? General etiquette refers to a code or conduct or morals or like set of rules that guides and that guides people or that guides behaviors and allow people to interact accordingly to users in such environment or in social environment. How do these general etiquette fit into telephone communication? Remember that communication has to do with a sender and a receiver. When the sender passes out the information, which is the communication, the receiver has to process it and must divulge in it and must engage in it in order for this communication to be efficient. So then, there are rules and guidelines in which one must adhere to make this communication efficient. You have to have etiquette. Etiquette does not just generally mean social behavior, social character. It's also very efficient. It's also very important in communication.
Good day, my name is Egwatu Chukwudalu and I am here to talk about telephone techniques. Telephone is such an important communication tool. All office workers should be able to use proper telephone technique to answer incoming calls cautiously and effectively. We all know that the first impression matters in how we are treated by the person answering the phone, be it pleasant, cautious, and interested in helping. Another technique that's very common in companies is the use of answering machines. We have the voice messages system as well as switchboard operators to process incoming telephone calls. Finally, we can also say a positive customer service and telephone culture is about how effective and efficient the frontline business professionals work as a team, while a difficult business caller is a person prevented from getting what he or she is expected, who is by nature very demanding. Thank you.
My name is Blaise Daniel Oluwatobilova. I'm here to talk about the importance of telephone call. Firstly, talking with your customer is much more personal. A phone call connects people together, and also a phone call builds a solid relationship between individuals. Secondly, you can get an immediate response when you talk on the telephone. If the person you are calling is able to take your call right away, then you can get an immediate response, unlike email messaging, text messages, and social media messages. Thirdly, leaving a voicemail is usually easier and your messages is not limited to a number of characters. If the person you have called and you are unable to reach that person, you can send a voicemail to that person instead of you texting messages or texting detailed messages to that person. Then fourthly, sensitive issues are better handled by a telephone call. And lastly, phone calls are more confidential than written messages. Thank you.
My name is Adejo Absalmi, and I'll be speaking to you today on how to project a wonderful personality. To project a wonderful personality, you need some certain skill sets, which include one, be attentive and add enthusiasm in your voice when answering phone calls or queries. This means you try to make the phone call as interesting as possible. Try to engage the caller as much as possible. Second, you try to be polite, including to those who are trying to be rude or difficult. This means, for instance, for people that provide customer service for network services, when they receive phone calls and the customer is trying to be difficult or just be rude for no reason, you just keep apologizing regardless and make the person feel like he's always right. Third, if the person for whom the call is intended is not around, you try to offer help, like one, you leave him a message. Then lastly, you try to make the phone call, you try to visualize the call as much as possible when making a phone call. That means you see the person right in front of you. Thank you.
Good day, my name is John Nayokomi. I'm here to talk about how to screen calls. Sometimes it is important to find out the identity of the caller so that appropriate action can be taken. Reasons why certain calls need to be screened. One, to let the receiver know what the call is about. so you can handle it in a more efficient manner and have minimal time wastage. 2. To block out unwanted calls. 3. To determine who is best to help the caller when they call up for assistance. 3. To let the caller know who you are transferring the call to. 4. To let your colleague know the caller's name and the nature of the call. Thank you.
Good day, I'm Prayer Jagunjobi Olatunde, and I'm here to talk about making a good first impression. First off, your voice is very important. You have to use your voice to convey the interest, alertness, and courtesy normally exhibited in a face-to-face conversation. Another thing is visualizing the caller. When you're on the phone with someone, you should know exactly what the person looked through his voice. In addition, you should communicate positively, speak with enthusiasm. An animated voice, a voice full of life, reflects interest in the caller, whereas a monotonous voice, a one-tone voice, suggests indifference and inattention. Furthermore, your speech patterns, pronounce each word distinctly and speak at the proper speed. You shouldn't be too fast, you shouldn't be too slow. And lastly, your vocabulary should be on check and attitude impeccable. It all matters.
My name is Adewale Oluwasegun Timtope, and I'm here to speak about proper telephone techniques. Firstly, be prompt over the phone, greet the caller, identify yourself individually or a company. Secondly, be crisp, clear, friendly and polite. Thirdly, if there are more than one calls, place each call to each department. And fourth, clarify which individuals the caller wants to speak to. And fifth, before picking the phone calls, put on a smile. This projects a pleasant voice over the phone. And sixth, a well-modulated voice is really well appreciated over the phone. And the last but not the least, ensure you have a clear voice and a natural intonation. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Samiat Arun Olasukomi, and I'll be talking on how to place a call on hold. Putting a call on hold on a cell phone is similar to doing so on a landline or an office phone. All you have to do is you have to tap the hold button, which represents a horizontal line, and the person on the other end will hear a message stating that he or she has been placed on hold and needs to wait. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Mohammed Usman. I'm here to talk about how to transfer call. 1. You put the caller on hold. Once the caller called in, you inform the caller that you want to transfer the call to someone. So you tell the caller to hold on for a moment. 2. Dial the person number that you want to transfer the call to. While the caller on hold, you use your dial pad to dial the person's number. 3. Wait for the person to answer the call. Once the person answers the call, the fourth one, you introduce the caller. Simply by introducing the caller, you inform the caller that you have someone on hold, the person wants to talk to him. And finally, complete the transfer. You can simply do this by pressing the transfer button on your phone and then you hang up. Thank you.
Conclusion, I hope we've been able to give a detailed explanation on the general etiquette and specific techniques for telephone communication. Thank you very much.